Welcome back to the first step of the formula to the why section. And again, I encourage you to go back and listen to the introduction video on who I am, the analogies we're going to use in the process, because again, this is life-changing. It is proven to work. And we're going to jump right into this why. Why, right? The name of my book is Why. This is absolutely the most important step in this entire goal process. So think about what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to teach you how to achieve your goal. And the first step has absolutely doing nothing with the actual physical steps of achieving your goal. So I'm going to tell you to just sit back, right? Take a second and just sit back. Don't worry if your goal is to lose 20 pounds, to get all straight A's, to anything in this world. Don't worry about what your goal is right now. I want you to take a step back and I want you to figure out what this why is. And again, if you remember, if you watched my first video, this boat, your boat doesn't have the engine. It doesn't have, like I said, the motor, the engine, the steering wheel. It doesn't have anything on this boat, right? This boat, if you woke up again without a goal, it's just floating around in the ocean, right? We're gonna fix that. So our goal, this why, represents a motor. This motor needs to get through the biggest storms, the biggest waves that life throws at us, just like this ocean, right? There's no control. Maybe the reason why you fail at your goals is because stuff happens. You let fatigue, you might let anxiety, fear, you might let just straight up fatigue stop you from achieving your goals. That's gonna stop. Let me tell you how I found my why. Again, I told you that I hit rock bottom. I was last in my graduating class in high school. I lost every opportunity to go to college and play sports. I truly was at rock bottom. And I was working a job actually at the Home Depot of all places. I was working at the Home Depot 2 years after I graduated college, probably back in 2005, maybe 2006, or graduated high school, I'm sorry. And I was working this job 2 years out of high school. And I made a goal to myself. I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this the rest of my life. You know, and in my mind, that voice in my brain, I said, oh, here you're going to go make this goal, right? And you're probably going to fail. But I said, you know, I'm going to go on and I'm going to play college football somehow. I want to play college football. I've always wanted to. I know I never played it down to high school football in my life, but I wanted it so bad, right? I wanted it so bad. And what I started doing is I started training every day, all by myself. I just started training. I sent out video clips of me training, everything you can imagine. I put every blood, sweat, tear I had into this. Nobody's watching me. Nobody cared about me. Nobody cared if I made it, but I did, because I made it a goal for myself. And what ended up happening, one day I woke up in the middle of the night. I was at my parents' house, and my heart was going 100 miles an hour. And I was scared out of my mind. And I went upstairs. I remember I told my mom, I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on. My heart's going 100 miles an hour. I have no idea what's happening. Long story short, we went to the doctor's office. They sent me now off to the hospital to get all kinds of tests. So I went and did these tests. And I was scared out of my mind. And that doctors, they told me, hey, you can go home. Your son can go home, but he's got something wrong with his heart. And the doctor will be calling you. And I was so scared. I went home and literally cried. Not even because of my heart. I cried because I realized what I was working for, that goal of making it to college football, was literally leaving me and I couldn't control it. And I started to pray. I remember I was like, God, listen, just give me one chance. Let my heart be okay. Because I've worked so hard for 2 years to make it to this college football. That's all I need. Just give me one chance. Well, it was crazy. You couldn't make this up. About an hour later, this specialist at this hospital called and said, hey, Kathy, your son needs to get in here stat. We're worried about him, that he might have something majorly wrong with him now. And so I just started, we got in the car and we're driving, right? And I just kept saying the one prayer, God, just give me one chance. Just one chance. I promise. If you let my heart be okay, I will give 100% effort every single day of my life. I will make it to college football. I will make it. I will never not give 100%. I'll make all the right decisions. I said effort and decisions. Just give me one chance. We get to the hospital, right? And they're laying me down on this table, and I just kept praying the same prayer. God, just give me one chance. One chance, I promise you, not only will I make it to the college football level, I'm going to get paid to play the sport I love. I'm raising the stakes. I'm making a deal with God in my head, saying, hey, just give me one chance. I'll give all the effort in the world. I'll never take a day off. Every workout, I'm going 100%. Everything I had, I'm giving to football. And I just kept sitting there. The doctors were talking. I just kept saying that same thing. God, just give me one chance. One chance. I don't even care about my heart. Just let it be okay. I'm not for health, but for my goal. Just one chance. And I kid you not, the doctor sat me up and said, Craig, I think you actually had a panic attack, and we were completely wrong. I think the EKG was wrong. All these medical things at the first visit at the hospital was all wrong. And I just smiled. And I realized right then and there, back in 2006, I developed a why. And my why was with God. It was that promise I made saying, hey, I will never take a day off. And what ended up happening? The days that I didn't feel like training, that popped right into my brain. My eye just lit up like laser beams. You made a deal with God. You made a promise to God. And I don't know if it's a deal or a promise. I didn't, any of that stuff. I don't know. But I just know in my mind, I made a promise to God. He gave me that one chance in my mind. That's what I thought. So I never took a day off. The days I didn't feel like working out, I worked out even harder. The times any struggle curveball came, I went right at it because I knew there was no other chance. I made a deal. I made this guarantee to God that I will give 100% effort every single solitary day. That's how I found my why, all the way back in 2005, 2006. So what is a why? To find your why, you need to figure out what you're waking up for. Who are you waking up for? Who do you want to do this goal for? So for example, now my life's much different. I have 2 daughters, a son on the way. So my life right now, a beautiful wife. My life now, my why, football is all over. My new why is I do everything for my kids and for my wife. So you can't just say, oh, I want money for my kids and my wife. You can't do that. My why is to be able to provide my family the love, the financial support, to be there for my kids, no matter how I feel. I'm going to be there for my kids, right? They're at the mountaintop. Another way that I always tell people, imagine you're sitting on the top of this mountain. You're at the bottom of a mountain right here, right? And your family, your why is up here screaming, help. They need you. You're the only one that can save them. You're the only one that can save them up here on top of this mountain. Who's that person on this mountain? Because if you don't get up there and save them, they're not going to make it. So you're going to put your why on top of this mountain, that person. And what does that represent? Let's just say this, you're not going to ever take a day off. You're going to get up there no matter what obstacle it takes, no matter how hard it takes to get up this mountain, you're going to get up there to that mountain, right? So maybe your goal is, maybe your why is your parents. Maybe it's your brother, your sister, your grandparents, whoever that is. Know that when you make your goal, you're doing it for your why. It's not about you anymore. It needs to be about your why, your person that you're doing it for. Because I guarantee you, again, you'll do whatever it takes to get up there and save them. That's what you have to do for your goal. No matter what happens, fatigue, all these different factors, the reasons that you might have stopped working towards your goal and you failed. You got to understand that your why will not allow you to fail. That's the motor. Again, that motor can get you through any storm. So sit back. Sit back and think, who's your why? What are you waking up for? Who's that person? And if you don't have one, that why needs to be you. Go look in the mirror. Look at yourself. Understand that you deserve it and you can have it. That's the thing. You can have anything you want. So stare at that mirror and look at it and say, hey, the future me, the me in 5 years, this is what I'm going to do for you. This is the goal I'm going to achieve for you. and just stare at yourself. You deserve it. Find your why. Don't ever click on my next video until you know who your why is. And just let it sit. Sit and let it get into your mind, get into your soul, get into your heart, and know that your why is so important. My kids, there's nothing, it doesn't matter, my kids, my wife, what happens to me. I'm going to be there for them no matter what, right? Find that person and use that same emotion, that same feeling, that passion you have. If one of my kids was screaming for me to help on top of this mountain, there's nothing I would do not to get up there. There's nothing that could stop me. Just like your goal, right? If your goal is to lose 20 pounds, you should be able to look at the foods that are tempting you and look at it, and it should be disgusting, because there's nothing that's going to prevent you from losing that 20 pounds. Nothing. It doesn't exist. You've got to find that why and put it deep into your soul, to your heart, and just connect to that emotion, that feeling, that power. That's what you're looking for. You got to find your why. Your why is everything. That's the motor to your boat. So next video, right? The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to move right on to the first tee right here. So stay tuned. I hope don't move on to that video until you know who your why is. You know who your why is, you connected emotionally to that why, and you buried that why inside of you. You bury that why, let's put it at that spot in your brain. So just think about that passion and that power of them saying, hey, I need help, and knowing you're going to do everything you can for them. You're going to fight for them. You're going to do anything you can, and you store it right into your brain. So anytime you need it, you can tap right into that spot, right into that brain, right into that emotion, and you're going right after them. That's what's going to help you get through any storm life throws at you. That's what's going to help you get through anything that's going to prevent you from achieving your goal. All right, so stay tuned to the next one, target. I'm excited. We're getting through step number 1.